Welcome to Podnutz, the Computer Repair Podcast, episode 135. I'm Jeff Halash. This is our live call-in show for computer repair techs. We bring you tips and ideas for your IT business. Call-in number is 1-888-697-0162. Let me introduce the co-host today. We have Lisa Hendrickson from CallThatGirl.biz. How you doing, Lisa?
Good.
Good to have you on the show.
Thanks.
All right, and also joining us today, we have Marvin Bee from mbsystems.net. How you doing, Marvin?
I am great. I'm looking forward for a Bahama Monday.
Oh, nice. That'll be nice weather out there, right?
It better be.
No
well, Marvin's in nice weather right now.
That's true.
I don't know what he's talking about.
That's true. It doesn't change much, does it?
Yeah, but the beaches are nicer, though.
Okay.
And they're closer, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, well, let's do a little housekeeping here. We got a couple things coming up here in the near future. We have Jetpack Live is presented by Instant House Call, hosted by myself. And you can meet fellow techs and business owners online, learn real ways to grow your IT business. You also hear tales from the trenches, learn sales and marketing tips you can actually use. You can also chat online during the show. It is June 29th is the first day to July 20th. It's 4 weeks. It's only 4 Mondays, and it's for about an hour, hour and a half. It's every Monday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time from June 29th to July 20th. So definitely get signed up for that. We're gonna have a good time and talk about a lot of good things that hopefully will help you guys in your business. The other thing we got coming up is CompTIA ChannelCon, August 3rd through the 5th, 2015 in Chicago. And if you guys go to the link in the show notes, you can get your free ticket to the CompTIA ChannelCon in Chicago. Also, if we're doing a couple things with the Jetpack, if you want to participate in an escape from the room where you can have zombies eat your brains or whatever it is, you can sign up for Jetpack and then go to the Connect page to get your tickets. There are 2 rooms with 12 spots available per room. So we have enough spots for 24 people. I think the tickets are like $28 a piece. So if that's something you want to do, a good team building exercise, I think we're going to have fun. Basically, you work together as a team to escape from the room, and every 5 minutes the zombie gets let off the wall by another foot or so. So you just got to stay away from the zombie while you're looking for clues, trying to get out of the room. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Also, we have coming up during that time, during the CompTIA in Chicago there, CompTIA ChannelCon, Lisa Hendrickson from Call That Girl, who's with us today, is hosting a Tech Nibble and Podcaster meetup. And that's going to be, it's actually starting the day before, but when we think a lot of people are going to arrive anyways, it's Sunday, August 2nd at 5 to 7 p.m. at CompTIA ChannelCon in Chicago. Get a chance to mingle with the Podnutz Tech Nibble, Mike Tech Show, the Computer Business Podcast, and Tech Vets communities. I will have a link in the show notes to sign up for the meetup. So go ahead and do that. And basically, let's start off with Marvin. Marvin, what types of things have you been working on or learning in your business as of late?
Well, as of late, let's say even as of yesterday, I just finished another network migration from 2003 small business server to a Windows 2012 server. So that was fun.
Define fun.
Well, it's just that the migration part actually went well for the server side and just getting their data over. This particular customer actually doesn't have any major programs, so I didn't have to worry about migrating, server programs. I just did the data, and then their desktop stations. Normally, in the old days, when you would go from small business server to small business server, you'd have to migrate, Microsoft Exchange, SharePoint, whatever software like that. But for this customer, all I did was basically created the new accounts on the new server, and then actually I used Fabs to back up their desktop profiles, connect them to the new domain controller, and then restored their profiles using Fabs. So that was
that's great.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, Fabs Auto Backup is amazing. If you guys definitely have not used that, it's well worth the money. It makes backing up so easy. It backs pretty much everything up that you would need, and I've even used it for basically moving from a Windows 7 machine to a Windows 8 machine, and it puts everything back where it belongs. It just really is an amazing piece of software.
Yeah.
I used to use it. in my shop.
Yep. No, it works great. It's he's really done some some great updates on it, and it's worked for me every time. So I really appreciate that program, and it's relatively inexpensive.
You ever talk to Fabs?
No, I haven't. Not personally.
I think I've heard him on one show once. He's very cool to listen to.
Oh, I'm sure it's got to have an amazing brain there to be able to put that stuff together.
I think he's French too.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Yep.
very deep accent.
Very cool. All right. Well, that sounds good. So now, Marvin, do you use like an automated software other than Fabs to do a migration, or do you kind of do partially manual, or how do you do that?
Well, for the desktops, it's pretty much Fabs, depending on how much of the profile I need to bring over. For the server stuff, I just simply, for the data side, I'll go back and forth between SyncBack Pro,
Okay.
or even the that little Roadkill unstoppable copier. If I'm just doing data to data.
Okay.
So I just hook the drives up to the new server, copy that stuff over. There's really not much else automated. With the 2012 Essential server, all their scripts are built in there, so I do use all of the automated stuff there.
Okay. Gotcha.
And that actually will migrate the desktops, from an old domain to the new domain with just a web command. So you don't have to use Fabs when you're dealing with a 2012 Essential server.
Okay. No, that's cool. That's good to know. Yeah, I know things have changed. I think the last servers that I've supported were it's 2012, and that was pretty much back in their heyday. So that's been quite a while. I played around with some of the newer ones, but have never had to do a migration on any of the new stuff. That's cool. All right. Well, Lisa, what things have you been working on or learning in your business?
Well, this project list I have right now is being well managed. I have quite a few little things in the pot. CompTIA is being managed well. This is a add-on. We have over 40 people signed up to come to the meetup. So at this point, the room holds 35. Now, I've done event management before, and I know that not everybody comes that shows up. So keep signing up. Our meetup is from 5 to 7, so I tell people to fly in by early afternoon to get there, get your hotel, and then come over and hang out with us. I'm sure something will be going on between this and the zombie escape the room, because it's like a 3-hour break. But
right. Yeah, we'll probably get some dinner or something like that. We'll figure out what we want to do from there.
For those that sign up, you're also going to get a sticker to put on your lanyard, your badge. So while you're there for the 3 days, you can notice another meetup person. Like I said in my last show, if you're there for 2 or 3 days and you're by yourself, because I had to run up to my room a lot to work, I'd come down and I didn't know who was all with us, So the little sticker will just be a little happy note, like, hey, you're from our crew. You might feel more comfortable talking to somebody that knows other people you know. And also I'm going to have a distribution list of email going on, so if people like, hey, we're all here, a group gathered, you'll know too. I just want no one to feel lost, because there's a lot of us going. And so Monday I do an exhibit table, and then there's lots of events I have to do. There's a huge networking community there, so if you sign up for tickets, go check out the CompTIA's page of exhibitors and then attendees. And this is the time to make it count, because these people are there and they want to meet you, and you might want to meet them. So that's what I'm doing here in the next few weeks, is getting my list together.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I didn't realize that CompTIA actually had even though you sign up and you register for a ticket, you still have to go back in and re-register with your information for CompTIA. It's old and archaic, but that's just a process. But once you do, you can put your picture and stuff in there, and basically you're able to hook up with other people in in the CompTIA.
Well, you can tag yourself with a lot of different keywords, and see, these businesses that have millions of dollars are not going to sit there and not make that money count.
Sure.
They're going to want to say, hey, I found you on the attendees list. Do you want to have a meet up one-on-one? And basically they want to pitch you something, and they've probably got 10 people there trying to pitch their stuff. So here's my mentality of it is, I'm going to only meet with people that I can either help or they can help me. one way each way. You know, I'm not going to meet with someone just to have a meeting because my time is very valuable there, in my
Sure.
opinion.
Absolutely.
Plus, I have to still work on some jobs. I mean, I can't be free for that many days. The other projects I've been working on is not a lot of people know, but I ended up buying a family house here in Iowa. And since I'm a snowbird, it's been lovely. But my brother has been listening to me talk about all this SEO so much that I do that I've trained him how to do SEO. So we have 3 packages now that we're going to start selling to technicians pretty much only. The first package is break fix. We've got 10 keywords, and all the content is done. The copywriting is done. We have MSP also, and now we just started a third one, iPhone and iPad repair. So if you're a tech, you want some SEO done, you don't want to pay thousands of dollars, it's $100 for 10 sets of blogs. You know, takes my brother a couple, 3-4 hours to get it done, and he loves it. So he's the new SEO guy for me. We're slowly getting some jobs in, so we'll have testimonials and real proof that it works.
Very cool.
Yeah, I like helping someone get some side money because a lot of us do side work, and that's
Sure. Absolutely.
what I've always done. Yeah, and then I am heading off in the fall, so hopefully he'll be on his own with that stuff. And then my other project, which Jeff, you and I talked about this spring, was my Outlook videos.
Right.
Boy, that has taken such a turn. It's been so crazy, but everybody's probably sick of me hearing or saying this, but it's all done. The videos, there's 11 segments. It's pieced out into start to beginner, or let's see, beginner to advanced. I think it's going to be a subscription service, and then you pay per video. So you pay to have access, and then you can watch the videos. And if you have a team of techs, you guys can all share them. I'm not going to get that down into it, you know, per user. But I've got a video company helping me. I've got the platform set up. Now we start.
Awesome.
Pretty exciting. Yeah, I have to have it ready for comp because I'm doing a booth, and that's what I'm selling is those videos.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Very cool.
the market for people to buy those is there. So.
Very cool.
What else? I just hired an Outlook tech, my first one, to start being my apprentice. I finally get to the point where I'm kind of too busy. So that's been nice. And I hired a full-time assistant a couple, 3 weeks ago. Nice. And she's doing tons of side work. I have her doing some of my client cleanup as well. My clients really don't want to pay someone $140 an hour to clean up their spam. So I just have her do it as part of her hourly rate. Oh,
there you go. Very cool. All right, sounds good. All right, so I think with that we're going to move on and we're going to go into the email segment and talk about some emails.
Great.
Alrighty. All right, so it says this is from Garrett Burke. It says, hey, Jeff, I've been listening to your podcast for about 2 months now, and this is the first time I'm writing to you guys. The reason for this is I've decided to want to officially start my own side business in hopes I can grow it, quit my current job, and work for myself. I say to that, good job, Garrett. That's definitely a worthy goal and something that everybody can achieve if they want to. Besides breaking and fixing my own computers for the past 20 years, I've managed geek service departments for a major retailer. And I've been doing tech support for friends and family for quite some time. My skills and knowledge in this area range from networks and servers to software and hardware. How important are the certifications? If important, which certification should I make a priority and which ones can wait? Thanks for your help, Garrett. Soon to be G2 Tech Solutions. From
G2.
Thank you, Garrett. Appreciate the email. And who wants to start? Marvin, what do you say to certifications?
Well, I can probably answer that a little bit. Certifications only matter to the people who know about them. So what happens in a lot of times is most of the new business you're going to get, if it's residential, they're not going to really know about the certifications or really care. They just want to know if you can get the job done. But if you're going to be working with some businesses and doing networking type stuff, those are the companies that are probably going to know about the certifications, and they're going to want you to have them. So I actually went through, when I got started, I went through and I did my A+, my Network Plus, my initial Microsoft. I got my Microsoft Systems Administrator certification. I did an Exchange certification for mail servers. But I've kind of been slacking off on that because nobody's asking anymore.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's because, most of my business now is referrals. So when I get referred, it's from a business who has seen my work, likes my work, and when they refer, people don't even really, they don't want to see my credentials. They don't want, they already got the reference. But I think that keeping up on the technology is key. I've looked at the A+ certification. It is much different now than when I first took it. So I know that those of us that took it back then are grandfathered in, meaning, it's not going to go away for us. But I know that the new A+ is only valid for X number of years. So in a sense, for most of the computer repair people, I would say, get your A+. If you're going to do networking, get your Network Plus. Keep up with those. And if you're going to be doing businesses, that's where I would say really look into the specific certifications, for what you do. For me, it's the Microsoft because I do mostly Windows. So I take all the server stuff, all the mail server stuff. I know that they've got, the Cisco, the CNA, all of the other stuff. You really need to focus on who your customers are. If they know the certifications, then you need to get the certifications.
Now, Marvin, let me ask you a question. Now, with those certifications that you learned way back in the day, we won't say how long back in the day, but anyways, did that stuff actually help you with the stuff that you're doing today?
Some of it did, some of it didn't. Some of the certifications, and Microsoft has tried to fine-tune this, but what happened was a lot of the certifications kind of hit broad strokes, and sometimes they were too broad. And the one I think about most often is when I took the initial Microsoft Exchange certification, I had to learn about clustering and, setting up server farms, and
right.
None of my customers had more than one mail server.
Right.
So I just didn't see the sense in trying to learn everything. I only really focused on what I needed to know.
Okay.
But I think each exam is, they're getting better at targeting the exams to what you really need to know. So yeah, they do help, but there are times, literally you can get away with, if you, study something and know it, you can kind of, get by without the exam. But, when I had techs, I made the techs keep up with the exams because that way I knew that they were at least doing that continuing education.
Right.
I think the last exam I took was 2 years ago. So it's time for me to look for another exam.
Okay. No, great information. Lisa, how about you?
I guarantee you that if they create an exam for what I do, I would fail it. And here's why. Because, in my opinion, the certifications are for textbook study work, not for hands-on real experience. In 2005, Microsoft came out with a certification for desktop techs, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they did.
Okay. I'm a help desk support expert in my mind in 2005. I've been doing it for 10 years. I failed that test, and my company, it was a real big deal because they were actually part of the testing of it for Microsoft, so they were like all primed up and excited. And I was like number 4 in the help desk queue of being the top 4, which I was pretty proud of, right?
Right.
Failed. I took it twice and failed.
Wow, okay.
And you know what? I've told the story about my A+, in 2000, my Unix testing. I fail every test. But I'm a good support person.
Right.
And
right.
I've had my own company 8 years, and I very rarely get clients that ask me for, are you certified in anything? And I always, if they do ask, here's what my response is. Everything I've learned is from the school of hard knocks. I've learned by helping clients, and I've become an expert because of this. So if you want to go look for a certified person, they're not going to be able to fix your iCloud calendar problem that won't merge with your Google Calendar contacts and your Outlook. That's what I say. I just give them examples. So, to me, I think that a lot of people aren't aware that the certifications are there anymore, like they were 10 years ago. Does that kind of make sense? Like, I never hear it.
Right.
You know?
Well, I think it's just like I said. The certifications are good for the people who know about them, and most of those people are going to be the bigger businesses. Most of the
people
smaller
don't need them.
And yeah, those people should, because they've got to have a baseline as to what knowledge you have. Now, what I will say, if we wanted to step back and look at a big picture deal, is that certifications can't be your end-all thing to think about. Another thing to think about is becoming a partner with some of the vendors that you use. I think what probably gets me a bigger bang for my buck is that I can tell people I'm a Microsoft partner, I'm an HP business partner, I'm a Dell, I'm a Dell solution provider. For some reason, I mean, that makes more sense to a lot of people.
It does. It looks better on a website of a person that owns a business than I'm certified in this, I'm certified in that. I like the partner thing a lot more.
Well, because they know that, okay, well, if you can't give them support, there's a bigger company behind you. They can, Microsoft.
You have a relationship with them.
Right.
That's a good point. I'll tell you, my rule of thumb has always been, in full disclosure, I have no certifications whatsoever. But my number one, I agree with Marvin too, is that the knowledge is good. So if you at least want to, brush up on the knowledge, you can get study guides and different things like that to go through and see what they're talking about. The only time I believe in today's day and age that you actually need certifications is if you're going to work for somebody else. Yeah. And the reason I say that is you can, if you've ever listened to, Mike Smith on the Mike Tech Show did this show a long time ago where he talked about resumes. And basically he talked about having to hire techs after setting a network up. And basically what he'll say is he might get 200 resumes, and the only one of the qualifications that he had on there was you had to have A+ certification. He's like, 195 of them go right in the waste paper basket because he doesn't have time to look through 200 resumes. So from that I gather, and this was years ago when he did that show, but from that I gathered, I said, you know what? I said, if you're going to go in for a job for a company, then you might want to have those certifications. If you're going to work for yourself, you can learn a lot of stuff on your own. But I'm not going to say that education is always good to at least learn. Whether you need the actual paperwork to hang on your wall, that I'm not so sure of.
You know what I kind of have to add, though, is I've been, in the tech world for a long time, and in the past, especially 5.5, 6 years, on forums such as TechNibble and the LinkedIn groups. When the techs talk about their certs in terms of, things, I'm always impressed to see that, because that means they went the extra mile and took the classes.
Right.
And I'm always impressed with people that stay current. They don't want to miss out, and it's not for them to say they're certified, but to learn. Yep. And that, to me, in any industry is important. And in fact, I learn every day because I have to do my own updating and my own stuff. But I mean, for people that are working on networks, you should be up to date with that.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I think, a lot of good answers there. Let's move on to the next email in the list. And again, thank you, Garrett. This one is from Chandler Calvert. And it says, when you're, for instance, upgrading a computer for someone, do you have somewhere you get parts for wholesale, or do you pay retail, then double it, and have them pay that amount? Explain how you sell computer parts. Do either one of you actually sell any computer parts, or is it basically only systems and support?
I sell a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Marvin will take this question, obviously.
Go ahead with the question then, Marvin.
Well, no, you can go first if you want, Lise. I went first last time.
You know what? Here's what I will say, is in my business, I'm remote support only. Back when I had stores, I found that I couldn't keep up with any inventory that made sense, so we ordered everything off the internet. We put a markup on it. I always made the clients pay for it before we ordered, and for the most part, I had no problems with that. Now that I'm remote only, I do absolute zero selling. I use affiliate codes on everything I do, and so I charge the clients for the labor to install the software, and then if it's a product I affiliate with, I earn some money for using it.
Now, what was the markup on your when you had your stores? What was the markup percentage? Do you remember?
I think 1.5%.
Okay.
So if a little keyboard was $10, we charged 15, which was so stupid because it would take my tech sometimes a half hour to find the stupid keyboard.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
paid him $8 to make 5.
Right.
It was so silly. I miss that life. Go ahead, Marvin. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to relive those memories anymore.
Yeah, inventory is hard for our business. I get away with a lot because I actually, when I got started in selling, I sell a lot of systems, and I went and got my vendor relationship with a distributor, one of the big distributors that Microsoft, HP, resells through them. Part of that was because to keep the partner program alive, I had to prove that I purchased so much product. And I couldn't do that if I just went online and did that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The other reason I did that was because it was so much easier to maintain proper levels of stock, or I could go in and look and see what was in stock. I knew that if I had a problem, I could return it. So from a support standpoint, I went with the distributor. So in terms of that, most of my businesses are okay with that because they just don't want to deal with that. They know that I'm, they know that I'm a reseller for these big companies, and they know that I'm, going to charge them whatever the retail value is. Now it is getting harder, and I blame Amazon and the internet for that. Because now people can go online and see what the price of stuff is, and a lot of times the price is either the same or less than what I can get it for. But what I've been able to do is I've purchased a lot from my distributor, so I do get pretty good margins. A good example of that is the desktops that I get now. I get a really good margin if I buy, above a certain level. So I know that I'm going to sell them, so I buy a lot, and they don't really stay, in my warehouse for very long because I'm going to sell them. So what I do is I will sell them at the price that they can find it for instance, on HP. If I'm selling a desktop, I sell it for the price that HP sells it for. And if people ask me about a discount, I say, if you want a discount, you can go ahead and research yourself and buy it online. I'm not going to tell them what to go buy so they can,
Sure.
My goal is that I want to, support you, but I also want to be able to support the hardware that goes into your system. So if you go on and buy something off the internet from Joe Schmo, and something's wrong with it, and then you're going to call me to help you fix it, I've got to charge more for that because I don't know where Joe Schmo got his stuff from.
Right.
I don't know if it's new. I don't know if it's refurbished. I don't know any of that. At least with my stuff, I know it's new. And if I decide to sell somebody something refurbished, I will tell them that and know ahead of time and count accordingly. So I only buy my new stuff from my distributor. There are times where I have to purchase, an old server part, where I have to go online, and I've got some vendors that I've worked with that they're not mainstream vendors, but they're also not the type of vendor where somebody can go right online and just search it and come across them. So I've got some
sneaky hidden vendors.
Yeah, they're the hidden vendors, but I know that they're good. My server company only deals in server parts, so I can trust that. But I know that right now the majority of the computer repair techs are at the point where they'll tell people what to buy. They'll either go to the store, tell the person, here, go buy this, or go on Amazon and buy this, the affiliate links and any of that. And if somebody really truly wants to get the best price, and I know that that's what they're shopping for, I'll just tell them, just go on Amazon.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so when it comes to upgrading, a computer for somebody, I buy a lot of singular parts. I don't really have a wholesale distributor for just parts. Like Marvin was talking about, there's HP and all those different, distributors that you can get in line with. But it would be great if there was actually a wholesale distribution center that would cater to just computer repair techs. But I have not found anything like that in my local area. So we have a lot of the online stores, and a lot of times what I'll do is, if you go to, here's my rule of thumb, if I can go to Best Buy and I see a hard drive, let's just say we're replacing or upgrading a hard drive, I see a hard drive and it's $89. Okay, now I might be able to go on Amazon or Newegg or wherever and get that same hard drive for, or even really a lot of times a better hard drive for $69. So a lot of times what I'll do is I will just charge the customer that $89.
Right.
Or or it might even be a little bit more than that, because you got to look at the time it takes you to research what it is you need, and you got to take into consideration, you got to order it, if there's any shipping costs depending on where you're getting it from. All those things factor in. So I usually round things up, and generally a hard drive for any laptop or even a desktop, you're usually looking at least $100 is what I charge, and then whatever I get the drive for, that's what I get it for. And then I'll go from there. Now, when you're talking about, if it's a $10 part that I need to, let's say it's a power switch on a laptop and it's a $10 part, what I'll do is I'll charge $20 for that part. If it's a keyboard, whatever. So I don't really have a set policy where I say I'm going to charge X amount % on the different pieces and parts. I just kind of go, okay, what seems fair to me, or what would the MSRP or manufacturer's retail price be on that said part that a person could get it for. Now, if a person wants to order their own part, again, like Marvin said, that's fine, but I'm going to charge you for my time to support that and to put that part in. And if it doesn't work, or if there's a complication, it is what it is. But at least if I'm getting something, I know I'm getting good quality stuff, because again, a lot of people do very, very inexpensive screen repairs on laptops, and that's fine, except I will not put anything in a laptop that's not an A+ panel. I won't do the second grade stuff on there. Now a lot of people do. I just won't, and because I do that, I've never had a problem with people bringing their stuff back, and obviously unless they crack it again, drop it on the ground or whatever. But so I tend to spend a little bit more, which I'm not really spending, the customer is, but to put better parts in their machine so that it'll last longer and they'll have a better experience. That's kind of my rule of thumb when it comes to getting parts. I wish, again, there was a wholesale distributor in my area that I could, hey, I need, X amount of hard drives or whatever, or I need, NIC cards or, whatever I'm ordering, I could have. But we just don't have that nowadays. So, get your Amazon Prime and...
Yeah, those stores are almost going away in a lot of areas now. Down here, we've got a couple of distributors that are, fairly close, but I can still get better prices from my big distributor.
Right.
There was a Tiger Direct actual store here. Now, what Text can do is, if you have a store like that, sometimes they'll give you, if they know that you're reselling or you're selling to businesses, you can get a business account with them.
Yes.
And get a little bit more of a margin.
Exactly.
I think the Micro Center is national, and I wouldn't say they gave me a discount because I didn't sign up to buy in bulk with them or whatever, but the sales guys were pretty nice to us. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I had one close, mine's about 40 miles away from me now, but I used to live 20 miles closer to the Micro Center in my area, and I used to go up there and I could grab parts as I needed them, and it was no big deal. But nowadays, yeah, I'm not driving 40 miles one way just to get parts
Amazon
or something.
Prime.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Amazon Prime, yeah, that's going to help us or kill us. I don't know which.
We shall see. All right, let's move on to the next email here, and this is from, let's see, this is from Jason. It says, hey Jeff, first off I wanted to say thank you for getting Nick from Foolish IT on the show to clear the air about the path D72 and Crypto Prevent are taking. As for most techs that use Nick's software for running their shops, I think it helped a good amount of people understand what's going on, and that was a great episode a couple episodes ago. Anyways, I came across an interview on the Twit Network podcast Floss Weekly that had the developer of VeraCrypt on their show. He explained what's going on and how he's looking for more help to make VeraCrypt better. I know you don't use encryption, but I figured I would let you know so you could let other techs know in the community that are looking for a replacement for TrueCrypt for protecting their business data or even their clients' data. A kind of off-topic thing, but something I found interesting was that watching the podcast on Floss Weekly, the VeraCrypt developer mentioned working with the developer of Notepad++ a while back. Thanks, and keep up the great work, Jason. Thank you for the email, Jason, and thank you for the info on VeraCrypt. Marvin, do you use any type of encryption software for your customers?
I do not for whole disk encryption. I just don't have any customers that fall under any of those regulations. Although I might with some of the HIPAA stuff. I do use encryption through a couple of backup products, but that's just through the backup product. So.
Okay. All right. Cool. And Lisa, how about you?
You know what? About 6 months ago, I had a client that. Oh, sorry, my phone keeps ringing. People don't know I'm doing a show here. 1 second. I think I'm hearing some feedback.
Nope, you're good.
Okay. 6 months ago, I had a client that needed some encryption done, and I kind of started working on a program to start offering that. But you know what? I've kind of learned that it's not what I do, so I don't do it anymore.
Gotcha.
So I have nothing else to say about that.
Gotcha.
I just am done dabbling in other people's niche work.
Gotcha. Yeah, encryption is interesting because here's my take on it, and I'm going to full disclosure, I don't know anything about HIPAA compliance, FINRA, all that other financial, I don't know what their compliance is.
Yeah.
The problem I think a lot of people are going to have is a lot of people are actually able to use TrueCrypt, and whoever the governing bodies of these compliance audits are, I'm thinking in the future, because of what happened with TrueCrypt, is you're going to have a hard time using something that's not some sort of paid for, backed up by big company software is my inclination. I could be 100% wrong. I don't know. But my concern is when you have, TrueCrypt, which has been around was over 10 years, and the guys just picked up and walked away and said, hey, we're done. Well, they didn't really say that, but, they insinuated they were done, doing anything more with TrueCrypt. I don't know what people are going to turn to because I don't really know a whole lot that's out there right now. Obviously you got BitLocker on, your Microsoft products, but I think that's just Microsoft. Well, probably Microsoft Pro and above from now on.
Hey, Jeff,
yeah.
One question. Was I fogging off, or did you just say that they just shut down their whole business, TrueCrypt?
Oh, TrueCrypt's been out of business for, they shut
up about a year now.
Yeah, it's been well, yeah.
Well, I just have been hearing that a lot, so to me, I remember hearing about them, but I didn't do encryption before, so...
Well, what they did was they basically announced that they will be doing no more developing on their product. It's still there. It still works. You can still download it and use it, but they weren't going to be doing any more developing. They weren't going to support. They weren't. Well, they didn't really do a whole lot of support before. It was just, freeware type of software. But, they just...
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which I thought that they'd be better off trying to find a way to monetize it, as opposed to just walking away. But
walking away is sometimes the best.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you really think about it, if you're in your 20s or 30s and you're kind of, on your own, kind of doing whatever you want, and in the development of this, you're together with a couple people, and you think, hey, this is great. This is, fun, and we're able to make a good product that people can use, and we probably want to monetize it, but then you get married and you have children and all these different things happen, and life happens in general. I think a lot of times these people just go, you know what, there's really not a way to make money from this because a lot of us, to be honest with you, as far as techs, are just cheap.
Yeah.
We don't want to pay for anything. We want everything free, and it's like that's just not a sustainable way to, live life. You can't just do for free and then expect to eat and house yourself and all that kind of stuff.
And they may have tried and couldn't come up with an idea. Maybe they couldn't agree as partners. I mean, who knows? There's a whole world of stuff we don't know.
And and it's funny because when you talk about security in different things in this industry, it's like stuff is only as secure as it can be to a certain extent. Well,
as secure as you make it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know how to look at the underlying code of different encryption software and all these different things. So I listen to people like Steve Gibson from Security Now, and I tend to trust what he says because he looks at this stuff all the time. I don't. So for me, I just go, hey, Steve says it's good. I'm going to go ahead and use it. But it's tough. So anyways, but yeah, good information out there. Definitely check out VeraCrypt and see what's going on there. Maybe it'll be, and especially if you're doing it for yourself and you're just encrypting your whole hard drive or your stuff, it's probably a good idea to have your stuff encrypted regardless. So definitely something you can play around with. Just make
I have my laptop encrypted for travel.
Okay. And that's probably a best case scenario right there, especially when you're traveling around with your laptop. How many are left in airports every year, right?
Well, see, here's the funny thing is last 6 months ago when I got all into this client, I mean, my marketing brain just went crazy, like, oh my God, let's set up this, let's set up that, and we'll start selling that, right? And sold none of it. Clients, here's the thing, is that they want it only after a destruction.
Sure.
They want online backup only after their computer crashed. They only want protection after a bad virus. I mean, it's just like, I just couldn't be preventative with my people. I tried. I said, look, you travel, you need this, you need that, and they're like, how much? I go, $1,000. I mean, it was a full package of stuff.
Right.
No joy. I even offered quarterly payments. No joy.
Right.
So I'm like, obviously, your data isn't worth duty to you.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. You know, you basically have to deal with people in a sense of, you know, what would happen if you lost all these photos of your
They don't care, though, till after.
Grandchildren. Yeah, I know. I know. But at least, you know, as far as giving them information, I will always give the information out to the customer because that's what my job is, to protect the customer. So if something does happen, obviously I'm not responsible at that point, but they, you know, at least they were warned and they were given an opportunity to buy something. So.
That's right. I think I'm just going to slowly put this out there that I'm getting out of some tech support services, and I'm not going to do any more online backup.
Okay.
I'm done. People can fill out my client agreement form, and it boldly states, we do not offer any online backup.
Okay.
Because I don't want to manage it. I don't want to be in charge of it. I don't want anybody having problems, so it's just a new policy. I'm not going to sell it. Now, if you want, I have an affiliate link for people to click on it and do it themselves or hire somebody to install it.
Sure. Absolutely.
I'm just so sick of this. Yeah. I'm getting real tired of a lot of stuff with tech support. I think I'm kind of getting at the end of my era with it.
No, fair enough. All right, let's move on to, I think we got two more emails. Okay. So this is going to be an email show. This is good. Okay, so anyways, this is from, this is from Jason. Might be a different Jason. Okay, anyways, it says, hi, Jeff. I recently got hired for an IT position at a, you know what? Let me hold on to this one because this is actually a Chris question. And let me hold on to the last two emails because this deals with the GFI enable that Chris is using now, or Chris is switching over from GFI to enable for his managed service. So when we have Chris on the show next week, he got tied up in some things this week. We'll have him back, and we'll definitely answer these last two emails. Cool. All right. One of the things I want to let you guys know about, which I found very, very interesting, and was given to me by Corey Fruitman from Instant House Call. Microsoft actually has we were talking about education earlier in some of the emails. Microsoft has a virtual academy, and it's www.microsoftvirtualacademy.com. I will have a link in the show notes for that. And it's very neat. If you click on there and go there and click on the center tab, which is IT Pros, they've got all kinds of things that you can learn about as far as Microsoft products. So if you guys have questions and different things, I signed up for it. I haven't had a chance to go in and see what the information is, but I'm definitely going to do that because I'm always interested in knowing the things that I support that much better. So that's one of the things that
just don't pay for their classes.
No, these are all 100% free.
I took 2 SharePoint classes for $55 each, and I was like, what a big waste of time and money that was.
Gotcha.
Just saying, before you buy, make sure you need it.
Yeah, all the Microsoft Virtual Academy stuff is free, so you can definitely check that out and get some information there. So, let's see. All right, so I think we got.
I have a topic.
Okay, do you want to go into? Okay, I've got a couple topics. Go ahead.
Just to say that even though I'm just slowly losing my interest in tech support, the Windows 10 thing is going to be really big.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally am hoping to send out a newsletter. This is a little marketing tip for techs to get out in their newsletters. But the little notification to upgrade is I have a blog out there that I've openly shared with technicians, which we can put in the notes, Jeff, if you want.
Yeah.
It's a warning of what can happen if you upgrade yourself, and how to be preventative and not do it, and just make sure you have a Cronus, you've got everything backed up, because we don't know. All of us are in the same boat right now. We can't test it either. It's sitting there on my computer right now. I can't test it. So we don't know till that day. Was it July 29th?
July 29th, yes.
What's going to happen when millions of people get this release? So it's a really interesting blog. I've got 500 some views on LinkedIn, hundreds on my site. It's really just a good FYI. And I'm thinking people would, if you're not doing newsletters, if you want to start one out, this is a good little FYI for people.
Right.
Because a lot of people are going to sign up and they're going to be excited and they're going to go do it and they're going to go, why doesn't my stuff work? Where'd happened to that? Some people it might be perfect. We don't know.
Exactly. Well,
we don't know.
And here's the thing: even if I have 10 machines here, I could test it out on, and I guarantee you one thing, that the literally thousands and thousands of different machines and variations that are out there, you're not going to be able to test for everything. So it's kind of like,
well, we can't test that button when the release comes because it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
That's
well,
what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's going to be an upgrade, which is not something that I recommend. So I always do clean installs on any operating system. I never do an upgrade from one major operating system to another. We will have the ability to do that. They will make the ISO available so that you can actually upgrade it, cleanly.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: a lot of people were saying that, they were going to use it as an opportunity to be able to upgrade their customers, take care of, their stuff, back up their stuff, reinstall the operating system, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, even if the customers upgrade and it messes something up, it's still going to create work for you regardless. So because they're going to be calling you and saying, hey, I need this, it's not working right anymore, can you come fix it? Absolutely.
But the preventative work that I'm going to say the smart people are going to go, hey, Lisa, Jeff, or Marvin, I really like staying on top of technology. I want to do the upgrade when it's available. And for them to go, what should I do to be prepared?
Right.
My good clients will do that. They'll want a Cronus, they'll want all their stuff backed up, and, then they can play. They don't want to pay techs to do that stuff, but they're smart enough to do the preventative stuff. So I'm just going to put out a newsletters here soon, just to let people know that there's going to be a lot of jump the gun people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and
of course I will be. I want to see what it does to my computer.
Yeah, now I probably won't use it in my production system just because I use so many different sound cards and different things like that. I don't need the headache for that. I don't think there will be problems, but eventually I will. But I'll probably have another system in place that I'll be able to do that and actually play with. So Marvin, what about you? What types of things are you doing with the Windows 10?
Nothing.
What are you telling your people?
Well, again, most of my clients are businesses, so
they know.
Yeah, they know that they're not going to get anything with Windows 10 until they have to. I still got clients on Windows XP. I mean,
yeah.
Oh gosh, wow.
So, business to upgrade is a huge migration. I mean, there's companies that aren't still XP for many reasons. Their software won't work with 7, I'm sure.
Yeah, there is proprietary. It's when it's proprietary software that was written for a specific task. There's a lot of times that those pieces of software, number one, either that business is no longer in business, or number two, they charge tens of thousands of dollars to upgrade that software to work with the next operating system.
Right, and that's where a lot of the money. Yeah, that's where a lot of my people are, where it's going to cost them so much money to upgrade that they're looking at the risk reward and saying, well, we won't do it until we have to.
Yeah.
That's a good question, Marvin. How many people are actually, because I remember supporting a lot of different proprietary software that was written to do specific tasks. Are you still seeing a lot of that newly written for stuff nowadays?
A lot of the businesses that were like that for me, I've actually moved away from. I did a lot of body shops.
Okay.
Auto body shops. That was probably one of the biggest areas of my business when I first got started. They were really slow to change, and they had software for their paint machines that could run on Windows 95, 98. When I started installing Windows, Vista and Windows 7. So that was an area that was slow. Law offices were slow to adopt. Now they're all getting better because the software vendors a lot of those companies have been bought and scooped up, and they're all now part of larger companies. So my law firms, the biggest problem I have with them is they don't change unless they are forced to, which means that their case management software, they're going to use it until they cannot use it anymore, even if it means that they don't have support for it.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing where the companies that are starting to say we can't support you on this version, they're following the likes of Intuit, where Intuit won't support 2011 and before.
Right.
So people have to upgrade. That's what they're starting to do for all the legal software now. So it's starting to swell, but the problem with XP, Windows 7, Windows 8 is that all the XP stuff still works.
Sure.
And until it stops working, they're just not going to change.
Sure. No, that makes perfect sense. It's just I'm hoping that there's not as much proprietary software coming down the road, because it really makes it a pain when you're trying to move up to the next system, or you're trying to integrate something into the workflow, and you're stuck on 10-year-old software.
Well, here's the way that they're going to make it change: is a lot of these companies are moving to cloud-based software.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it might be a hybrid where you still have to have stuff installed on the desktop, but then the bulk of your stuff's in the cloud. So I have started to see that where the cloud software won't install on an XP machine. So then they know, okay, so I got to go buy a new machine.
Okay. Oh, that's a good point.
That's how they're doing it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's what they did with Office 2013. It doesn't run on XP.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Yeah,
you got to upgrade if you want to use that. And
sure.
That was a nightmare I found out the wrong way. Guess what else doesn't work on XP? SharePoint.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine a lot of that stuff would be working on on XP. I mean,
browser-based, yes, but not the desktop. Sync tool, definitely not, and the software didn't work. So that was after I just uploaded thousands of files to SharePoint. The other employee had XP, and we didn't know that.
Oh.
Now that's a nice question to ask people. What operating system are you on?
Yeah, or you know what? It's time to upgrade your machine.
Yeah, well, guess what? The client opted to not do that, and they went back to their network server and got off of OneDrive and SharePoint.
Okay.
I was like, good idea, because it would never finish synchronizing anyway.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Me and Marvin have talked about that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because, there's been a lot of times where, a server will die and all of a sudden people are they're basically out of business because they don't have access to their stuff. And what ends up happening 9 times out of 10 is they don't want to pay somebody to monitor their backup. So even if there is a backup on the system, 9 times out of 10 that backup's not even doing what it's supposed to do, or somebody's put in the magnetic cleaning tape or whatever. So when it comes to a lot of that stuff, it's like people are really setting themselves up because they don't really want to pay for things that they don't see as necessary. But a lot of this stuff is really necessary in order to, if I'm making widgets, my bread and butter is making widgets. You really shouldn't care about what the cost of, computer support and all that stuff is, because I'm making my money from making widgets. I mean, that's what I'm
Oh, but there are budgets.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I'm actually one of my clients.
There are budgets. There are perceived budgets, but there's also non-realistic budgets. I will say that.
Well, I seem to get a lot of the clients with no budget because they're calling me to break fix their Outlook.
Sure.
And then I learned that they maybe would buy a prepaid ticket because then they saw the value of that, but nothing else.
Right.
And you know what? They'd have a Vast free on their computer and a broken back up my PC that didn't work, and I'm like, do you want help with that? Nope. I'm $140 an hour. Just fix that Outlook. Get out of there. So.
Exactly. Yeah. No, and it's good to have that niche. You can get in, get out, get your job done, and move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And we'll probably talk about this another time, but it's one of those things where it's unfortunate, but it's talk about protecting your customers. And how much should we really try to protect them? And I believe it's part of our job. And unfortunately, it's getting to the day and age where people are just going, "All right, you don't want that? No problem. I'm just going to move on to the next thing." And it's like they're out there flailing in the wind, 6 months later or whatever.
You know what though? A lot of it. I know you guys are hearing this word a lot. It's coming up more frequently as niche work.
Yeah.
And I'm finding, listening to, not listening, but reading more online with tech forums, the LinkedIn groups, the Technoble groups, a lot of techs are starting to get in a niche and getting out of what basically most of their services, but just a few.
Sure, absolutely.
And I'm that company now.
Yep.
I am done kind of trying to be everything.
Right.
I don't want to. I want to do a few things really well.
Exactly. No, you definitely need to do
Yeah.
that. You definitely need to have your niche in the market. That's for sure. It's the same reason I still don't work on mobile devices and tablets.
Yeah.
It's just not something I want to do. I would partner with somebody to basically pass information back and forth, or work back and forth or whatever. But not something. I've done a few, and it's like, it's just not my cup of tea.
Well, there's actually a lot of computer repair shops that are flipping over to smartphone repair now. They're seeing more money with that than the computer repair. And see, my thing is back when I had stores, I actually offered tech support remotely because that was my passion.
Sure.
So that's what led me to where I am now, was going through the stages of what I don't like and moving out.
Sure.
My 8th year ends this August, so I'm starting my 9th year, and I just feel like I'm still starting over. All the time!
I think in this business, I think that's really what it comes down to. We are starting over all the time, or learning new things.
I'm planning for 2016 right now.
Sure.
We're at the end of second quarter, and I'm already planning my campaigns for next January.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you're thinking ahead.
Crazy.
That's good. That's good.
Well, you're an entrepreneur. You got to think of stuff like that,
Exactly.
That's what we are, all of us.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about, we don't have too much longer here, but let's talk a little bit about, we went through most of the emails. Let's talk about SEO optimization, because I know we were talking about that before the show, and it's something you're really big into, Lisa, and you kind of talked about, offering that SEO package, and how important do you think SEO is for us today, and where do you see it benefiting people so that they can get their best bang for the buck?
Well, I think that my interest in SEO came from years ago when I was in Minneapolis. I'm hearing a little feedback. Do you guys hear that?
No.
Okay. It's just me. So many years ago in Minneapolis, there was a big race to be on page 1 for computer repair. I mean, it was before all the shops closed. We're talking like 2009, 2010. And I was a heavy blogger. So I was blogging, and all of a sudden I started finding, when I was comparing the other computer repair sites with words they were using, I figured out my own magic. And then I started blogging using the keywords, and I finally got myself up to page 1. But I had to be consistent with blogging,
Sure.
So through the years, I started learning my tactics worked for Outlook, and it worked a lot. Like I said, there wasn't nobody using my words on the internet, pretty much, trying to do what I did. So for me to use Outlook as an example for text is really not good, because I'm in a unique position there. But anybody in a small town, big town, I tell people this: the bigger town you're in, the harder it's going to be, because you have more competition. And your competition is doing what you are doing too. But pretty much what I've been doing is creating a list of 10 keywords, creating unique paragraphs that match with those keywords. I have an ebook out called Call That Girl's Guide to SEO for WordPress. It's $15, I think. And it lays out 10 steps on how to do this. And then to be consistent, you have to write day-to-day blogs afterwards, which helps juice it up.
Sure.
And it's not hard to write a blog. I tell people, look, you just say, hey, today in my computer repair shop in Kentucky, whatever town you're in, we had a client drop off a hard drive for data recovery. Right there, that's all your keywords. Then you tell just a story of how you fixed it, and then put it out on your blog and post it, and you're getting the keywords, and you're giving Google more content, and that's what Google loves. So they help you by ranking you higher, but you got to be consistent.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of computer shops that I know have hired people to do their websites. Their website people promise to get them on page 1 of Google. They're using a lot of backlinks. They're using a lot of old techniques that don't work anymore. So I tell people to be very careful with, hiring an SEO company, And I think the reason why people are hiring me is because I'm a live person that they know or have heard or bought my stuff.
Right.
So I'm reputable in the fact that I'm not going to go away, you know.
Right.
But it is, you know, like my tactics do work, and I don't guarantee results, but most of the time it works. But you got to do the 10 blogs and then just keep blogging, and that's plus those blogs you can share on social media.
Right.
With your people. So if you wrote a blog about how you fix this client's awesome hard drive, you probably tag them on Facebook, and they're going to go, yay, that person did awesome, so you're getting more love with your social media. So anyway,
that's a good point.
Well, the blogs are valuable in social media, with Google, and also keeping you on your toes for keeping up with doing some marketing.
Right.
Which everybody has to do. So here's what I tell people is if you have a WordPress website, want to do it yourself, my book is good. If you want to hire, you know, me or my brother, we're $100 for 10 blogs, and you only usually need 1 or 2 sets. I mean, I haven't seen anybody need more than that. And then you just keep up with your day-to-day blogging, and, you know, generally results should come your way with those keywords that you're using. Otherwise, you know, I don't know of any other firms doing what I'm doing, but I know that there's a lot of SEO artists and bandits that are very expensive.
Right. No,
I call bandits.
Well, and that's been my thing on, you know, if you're looking at SEO stuff, is I've always done mine organically, and I've done nothing to game the system, because the reason I don't want to game the system is not that, you know, that doesn't work, but I don't game the system because Google literally changes from month to month, you know, at least every 6 months, the way their algorithm works for looking for new content. And I think you hit the key word, Lisa, is that you got to have something consistent that's going out. And as long as you have something consistent, then Google's always scraping your website and seeing that information, and it's able to make it that much better. So,
well, I will always say I'm not an expert in SEO, but I kind of figured out the magic tricks to do well.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't use any other. Well, basically my tool set is Google Analytics, and then I have a browser that I'm not logged into with Gmail because I don't want it tracking me to, you know, get me excited that I'm on ranking higher. And then I just put I do, like, let's say computer repair, Louisville, Kentucky. I think that's a town. Anyway, then you start doing the magic, and eventually, you know, those words start coming up. But like I said, if you're in a big town, you have to do more because bigger towns have more competition. And so it can be done, though. I did computer repair Minneapolis and got there. It just takes a lot of work.
I was going to say, I'll preface that with saying it depends on your type of business.
Yeah.
You're more of a I don't want to say, I don't even know if you do outside the U.S., but you're more of a U.S.-based business where you do remote support and Office 365 and everything in the United States.
I'll tell you, my marketing right now has changed dramatically.
Okay.
My proof in the pudding is that I swear to God, I hope this is true. Outlook Expert ranked page 1, for sure page 1 everywhere in the world.
Okay. All right.
So you can test that out. I'm usually on page 1, rank 1 or 2.
Okay.
And I beat the domain, Outlook Expert. But I work for them as a contractor, so I'm like competing with them too. But I've kind of knocked out, you know, that stuff. But that's internationally. But that's really rare because there's nobody else out there that wants to be an Outlook Expert but me.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. I mean, once somebody decides to compete with me, it's on. Now, let me tell you that I used to pay for Google ads with Outlook Expert, and I was like, why am I competing with myself?
Right.
I'm already on page 1 organically, so I removed the ads. I was paying $400 a month, and I kind of noticed, I was like, I didn't pay my bill one week, and I'm like, I was busier than heck, so why even pay for those ads?
Right.
Now I just blog more consistently. Now, the people that also do Google ads and they're having success with it, I don't recommend that they totally dump their Google ads campaign to do this. I recommend a slow transition and test it.
And it also depends because, like, my Google ads for myself is in literally a 6x6 square mile radius, and that's it. So it doesn't matter if there could be another 100 technicians in my area. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because
you're right.
I'm, you know, with regular content going on a regular basis and the Google AdWords, I rank up under the #1 computer shop, I would say, in the area, and that's just organic.
Yeah.
So I come right up towards the top there. But and I will also say this too, as far as keywords, there's different keywords that you will have success with versus others. One being computer repair. You can have computer repair in your area and be very successful with that.
Mm-hmm.
What you won't be successful with is virus removal. Okay, just won't happen, because the problem is the Kaspersky's and the McAfee's and all those out there, because they have their words out there internationally, they're going to be all over that, and they're the ones that are always ranking higher.
I tested virus removals Minneapolis, Minnesota last summer, and I haven't been doing work in Minneapolis consistently since 2013. It took me 2 weeks, and I was on page 1.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't take that long, but you got to remember also that Google looks back at your past words that you've put on the blogs. So, like I say, if you do a virus removal quite often, it's something you should consider as blogging about it often. Put it that way.
Okay.
And my book has, I'm just going to pitch it again, it has the exact methodology of to do it step by step. So there's a magic to it. But once you get it and you're seeing results, you're going to be like, this was awesome.
Right.
Because it takes your time. And if you're a busy MSP, I've had most of my new clients are MSP clients. They don't want to do the work, which I don't blame them, because MSPs have marketing companies anyway for the most part, But we're just a little mini piece of it, and it does work. We see the results, but you got to keep doing it.
Right. Consistency is the key.
Yep.
Marvin, you've been sitting there quiet.
I know, poor Marvin. He's soaking it all up.
I mean, if you've seen my website, you realize I don't do CEO or SEO or.
Oh, you're not a CEO either, Marvin?
Marvin, by the way, where's your new website at? What's going on?
I haven't gotten in touch with my web girl yet.
Oh, let me go look at it. I gotta go see it.
We've traded phone messages, and I just haven't had time to. We just got to tweak some content, is really what it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
You got a lot of Twitter followers there, Marvin?
I don't even have a Twitter thing.
Dude, do you even have a website up?
Yeah, I have a website.
I see Network Solutions here.
mbsystems.net.
MB Systems. Okay.
mbsystems.net. Yeah.
I put an S in there.
Well, yeah. See, MBS.
I was like, what?
Mercedes-Benz. They.
Uh-huh. Mr. Richman.
Oh, no, that's cool.
No, I know this. When I tell people to put in MB Systems in the search,
yeah,
I'm on the first page for that. I don't know how, but I know that I am.
Well, if you're on,
that's awesome.
Marvin, yep, your site needs some SEO loving.
Yeah.
But hey,
it needs more than just SEO loving. Let me tell you that.
No, I'm not. I would say 99% of my business is referrals.
Yeah. And you know what? You're not the only one. There's a lot of people that is basically how they've built their business. Their web presence is like, yeah, it's there, but it's not the important part of their business, because, again, word of mouth, you can run your business, especially if you're doing stuff in a local area.
Yeah.
Well, actually, now you know what? Here's what's interesting is I'm trying to think of new ways to make money off what I do already without having to do the work. So I went out and found a couple products that I use quite often in my business, and I got an affiliate code from them. And guess what? I have a blogging campaign, not for this product, but what for the product does.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to blog the Jeepers Creepers out of this stuff, because I already have all the good keywords with my day-to-day work. Oh, yeah, I'm putting affiliate links on every single thing I do from now on.
Okay.
Everything, because they're going to pay me to sell their product. The win is, if people are Googling what that product does, and they're like, I don't want to do it myself, because it's kind of a, not an easy product for an end user to do, then I win off the marketing of that and the link.
Absolutely. No, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that the changes that I look to do with my website, whenever it happens, is going to be to give my customers a place to go and grab stuff. If they need to know, hey, I need to, what do you recommend for, if I want to do a virus removal myself, or what, I can just say, go to my website, go to my downloads page or go to my whatever the page turns out to be. That would be the reason for promoting my site more, and it's mainly for my customers.
All you need, Marvin, is a let me remote into your computer link.
Well, and that's what I use it for.
It.
That is probably all that. I never direct my people to my website unless we need to do remote support. I say go to my site, click on support, click on the mouse, and that's it.
That's it.
Now, one of the things I did look at doing that on the new site we tweet is for my customers to be able to go on and purchase hardware. Direct from my vendor. So when it comes to, one of my customers needs 10 desktops, I just say, okay, go to my website, pick out which one you want, have it delivered. When it gets there, I'll come out and set them up.
Very nice.
So we're going to tweak with that possibly, if the vendor's still doing it by the time we get the website up. But that's, those types of things where I can tell my customers, just go here. And,
self-service.
I am going to have... Yeah, it's I am going to have some Facebook stuff on there, and I probably won't tweet.
Marvin, I tweet. Here's what's interesting about Twitter is a few years ago I had a really messy Twitter account, so I cleaned it up. Now I only follow very few groups of types of people, just for interest, more or less. And my website actually sends out a tweet every time I blog, so that's automatically set up. Well, when you're doing an SEO campaign, remember, it fills up your Twitter feed pretty quick. I had 50, I think, done one day. Well, it was all for just towns I was putting out my stuff. So social media is real heavy out there.
It is, and even the Google Plus, now that we've been doing that, I get those notifications every time somebody posts something in Google. I'm like, I don't need to see all that.
Right.
Don't be offended, Podnutz people, if you're, putting stuff up there. But a lot of it, I know it's all great stuff, but, sometimes we just get so busy.
Right. Exactly.
Jeff and I were talking about this pre-show. There's a lot of technical groups now. I've seen them on G+, LinkedIn, and my favorite tech nibble, of course, the forums. But it's kind of like, what do you do during your workday? And Jeff was like, well, I work. And I'm like, well, I'm in between calls. I have to stay on top of all my social media. And it's kind of a lot to keep up with. It's not my clients anymore. It's just keeping up with technology and all the groups. And I'm in at least 3 tech groups on LinkedIn now, and 3 on Facebook, and all the G+ stuff. It's all text just talking, and I'm like, I'm over-teched.
Right.
But you have to.
Yeah, you have to, and you try to keep a pulse on what's going on in the industry, but it's like, as far as trying to keep up with all that stuff, it's fairly hard. But I will tell you, I think we're about wrapping up here, I think, with our conversation today, and definitely appreciate you guys coming out. I'll tell you what, Lisa, if people wanted to find you, and obviously you've already talked about some of your stuff and all your products on your website, but where can people find you at and ask you more questions, get some information on your products and services that you sell?
Well, to check out all of my books, including the WordPress or the SEO for WordPress, you can go to CallThatGirl.biz/publications. All 5 of the ebooks are there. You could check out my Office 365 show, which is also here on the Podnutz network, Podnutz.com/CTG, or CallThatGirl.biz/Office 365. I'm also available if technicians need to call me for Outlook help or Office 365 consulting. I've been putting that out there. A lot of techs just want that little help, to guide them. I'm available. You can email me at lisa@callthatgirl.biz.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you coming out.
Sure.
And sharing with us today. It was awesome.
My pleasure. Good show.
Thank you. And Marvin, where can people find you at?
Well, if you can find my website, it's MB Systems.
Maybe just stick with an email address.
I like that. If you can find it, Google me.
mbsystems.net. My email address, marvin@mbsystems.net. I am Uncle Marv in the Tech Nibble forums, MB Systems Inc., other places, Marvin Bee at the Google+.
Very cool. And
also, Marvin will be at Chicago with Jeff and myself.
I will be there.
Absolutely. I know. Me and Marvin already met in person.
I'm not a part of the Podnutz Hall of Fame podcast thing, but I'll be.
You should be. You're on enough shows. I mean, literally, I think you've been on 2 of mine.
Yeah, but I don't host any, so.
No. Appreciate that, guys. All right, we do Podnutz Computer Repair Podcast every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern over at podnutz.com/live. We'd love it if you guys would watch and join in on the conversation by hanging out in the chat room or calling in live. We have on-demand audio and video always available after the fact over at podnutz.com and my YouTube channel, Podnutz Live Show for Computer Repair Techs. You can find me on Google Plus at Jeffery Halash or Twitter at TechNutPC. And if you're a computer repair tech and would like to be a guest on Podnutz Daily where you can talk about your business, email me at podnutzdaily@podnutz.com. You can also email questions and feedback for this show at podnutz@podnutz.com. You guys can leave a voicemail at 1-888-697-0162. And I would appreciate it if you guys would try to leave us a rating and review over on iTunes. That'll let more people know about us. You guys can help support Podnutz Network. Next time you shop on Amazon, go to podnutz.com/Amazon. And I want to thank everyone for listening and subscribing to the show. We'll see you next time on Podnutz, the Computer Repair Podcast. And okay, we're still live, so
I know, I can make all my silly faces now.
All right, I think normally we have a little after show, guys. I have to. It is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to everyone out there.
Sure.
And I have to kind of go hang out with my family. Yes, and be a father.
Yeah, I'm not a father today, so I'm gonna go have more beer. Bye, guys.
All right. Great seeing everyone. We'll see y'all next Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great week.
Bye.